Snoop Dogg says, dude, I love the name Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg. Okay, Snoop Dogg says, this is in response to my video about why I chose PA, physician assistant, over MD, medical doctor. Not that it was necessarily a choice. It's not like I got into both programs. I just chose to pursue the PA route, right? And I was talking about the reasons why. So Snoop Dogg, in response to that, says that he started his MD at 26. I started PA at 29. And one of my reasons for pursuing PA is that it's a shorter training. You get to, have your career, your income, have your, start your life a little sooner than, if I had started MD, which would have taken longer, much more training. So he says, I started MD at 26, so slightly later than most, maybe. My gap years were fun. Okay, my gap years were not. They were filled with grinding and stress and trying to make ends meet, but okay. Anyway, I feel lateral mobility is overrated. For MD, there is variety in fellowship, and practicing one thing is how you gain experience. I mean, okay, so here is what you have as a perfect example of different priorities. Different human beings, different people. Myself and Snoop Dogg are different people, right? So Snoop Dogg varies. Snoop Dogg values consistency. Snoop Dogg values getting really, really good at one thing over and over again, toiling at this one, type of thing and learning everything there possibly is about it over, years and years and years and decades. And, being the top dog and understanding that one thing better than anyone else. And if you need that one thing done, let's say it's dermatology, ophthalmology, whatever that may be, you go to Snoop Dogg. Okay, that is Snoop Dogg's priority. That's the kind of guy that Snoop Dogg is. He wants to be an expert at one thing, master at one thing, not a jack of all trades, right? So that's what Snoop Dogg wants. Me, I'm not Snoop Dogg. That's not what I want. I want variety. And not even, this is something that's not talked about enough. It's not even just variety in medical practice, like waking up one day while you're practicing orthopedics going like, I am done with knee replacements. I don't want to do knee replacements anymore. I want to do neurology. I want to start managing migraines. And that's my new passion. And I'm going to switch laterally and have that mobility in my career. Yeah, that's definitely one advantage of the PA profession. Whatever you're interested in, you can totally switch to that specialty. But there's a lot more to it than that. It's not just getting bored with one specialty and deciding to practice another specialty. It's lifestyle, okay? Those of us who have lived more than 2 years on this planet and have been observant understand that life comes in seasons. What your 20s might be like or your mid-20s might be totally different from your late 20s, which might be totally different from your early 30s, which are totally different from your 50s, right? So life comes in seasons. Different things come and go in your life. Relationships, kids, ages of your kids, your parents' health, whatever you're doing, where you're living, what you might want to pursue outside of medicine, all those things are different. And having different jobs might be more conducive to you being able to be free to do those different things in your life. For instance, I'll give you a hypothetical example. So right now, I am working in urgent care medicine. So I work usually between 2 and 4 12-hour shifts per week. Sometimes I'll pick up overtime. And then my new job that I'm actually starting in a couple months, I'll be working much more closer to an average of about 40 hours a week, but also in those 12-hour shifts. So I get between 3 and 5 days off per week, which is sweet, right? And then you throw in paid overtime and whatnot, and that's just, or paid time off into that, and then you just have a ton of freedom, right? So I always have 3 days off, 4 days off in a row, almost every week, which is fantastic, So that's the schedule that I get. But before the shift, I'm, laser focused on getting my mind right, getting my coffee, because it's going to be a very hard day that's very busy and it's going to take a long time. You add a commute in there. And then by the end of the day, I'm just smoked. I don't really have time or energy for much else. I might go to the gym quickly. That's it, right? So that's the kind of life that I live. But I also have a lot of days off. So that's the kind of life that's very conducive to someone who might be an entrepreneur, who's younger, who doesn't have a family, who just kind of is all about their own career, their own grind. And that's kind of the stage of life that I am at right now. I manage an income property that I recently purchased, that I bought about a year and a half ago, lived in it, and it became an income property. So I had to deal with all of that. Now it's finally more of a passive income type thing where people moved in and, I'm barely needed. But that took a ton of time, and also just the flexibility to learn all the stuff I needed to about real estate, about taking care of a property for the first time in my life, laws, about all of that, contracts, all that kind of stuff. It's like a second career that I had to put on that hat and take on for just a short amount of time And having the flexibility to do that, now I've got, that extra almost passive income, which is phenomenal. If I was working 60 hours a week constantly, I would not have had the flexibility to do that. And now also I know all that stuff about real estate, which is invaluable. I'm very glad that I was able to learn that. One example. Second example, that I'm doing this thing, my whole YouTube and TikTok business and all that stuff that I've been doing with all of that for the last few years. The book that I wrote, the consulting that I've been doing. It's not bringing in a ton of money, especially compared to being a PA, but I love it. I love connecting with people. I love hearing people's stories. I love being that like solid bastion of knowledge and hope for somebody who's trying to practice medicine and might be in a tough situation. I absolutely, absolutely love that. And I would probably not have been able to do that, or at least as much, if I was working 50, 60 hours a week every single day, like you probably are as an MD student, and even as an MD, right? So like just that flexibility in my life right now has been fantastic. Now, fast forward in a few years, hopefully, let's say I find, the perfect partner that I really want one day, hopefully soon. And then we have kids, which I really, really want. And then those kids, of course, they need a schedule. They're going to school, they're going to classes, they're going to gymnastics, they're going to music lessons, whatever that may be. That's on a regular schedule. And now this chaotic shift work lifestyle that I have might not be conducive anymore. So guess what? Like that, I can switch jobs. I can go back to primary care. That's like 5 days a week, 8-ish, 9-ish hours. I could go to an outpatient specialty, do like GI, do cardiology, do whatever outpatient. Also 5 days a week, 8 to 9 hours, regular schedule. That's great. I can go part-time, I can go part-time because of the things that I've been able to build up these last couple of years, this business, real estate, all of that. Now I've got the money and the flexibility passively to maybe go part-time. Let's say the baby is really young. Wouldn't it be great to not miss those moments? Maybe work part-time, maybe work 20 hours a week. I can do that. In 2 seconds, I can do that because I've already got the experience in primary care. Any primary care clinic would probably love to have just a part-time provider come in a couple days a week and help them out, help with their manage their workload, help manage their labs, help manage whatever they need to do, that the other providers are overworked and overstressed. I could work part-time. Could do the same thing with urgent care. I could work part-time in urgent care. All of that is much more malleable and much more movable as a PA than it would be usually as an MD. Is that to say that MDs can't also have the same flexibility? In some specialties, yeah, maybe in ER, or if you get into urgent care, or maybe even as a primary care doc, but I don't see it as much. There's much more flexibility with PA. So the point is, lateral mobility is, okay, he's saying it's overrated. I wholeheartedly disagree with Snoop Dogg. Full respect to Snoop Dogg. I really love that there are people like that want to commit that much of their time and that much of their future and that much of all the other stuff that they could be doing with their life and their energy, especially when they're young, that they're committing all of that to medicine. I love that because we would not be here without guys like Snoop Dogg, right? I'm very glad that you're willing to put in all that sacrifice and all that time. I'm just not, man. I want to pursue and explore other things and have the freedom to pursue and explore other things as I see fit in my life. And for me, that makes PA a much more appropriate career. Okay? So I definitely don't want this to be like I'm antagonizing Snoop Dogg. I so respect doctors and people who want to put in that much time into medicine. I'm just not one of those people, man. Sometimes, yeah, I do work 50 hours a week, sometimes even more, and I hate my life because it's just so stressful and so much. And then I like to see the paychecks when that happens. And I'll do that for a period of time. Let's say I'm saving for a house, a car, whatever. But I also want the flexibility to back off and take it easier and enjoy my life and then ramp up again temporarily as needed. Whereas doctors are just grinding. And then they're 65 and then they've grinded their whole life away. So again, I don't want to make this antagonistic. I really appreciate what doctors do. I know a lot of them, like Snoop Dogg is saying, you just really get that expertise and that just the feeling of mastery over your field of medicine. And that's something I will never have. I'll know that I'm good at my job. I'll know the things that I've learned, but I will never have that sense of mastery that Snoop Dogg will in whatever specialty is lucky enough to have him. I'll never have that. But for that, I'm trading the freedom that I just discussed, okay? So this quick video turned out to be almost 10 minutes. It's not quick because I'm so passionate about this, guys. But I just wanted to take kind of a different spin on the whole lateral mobility thing. It's not just about switching specialties. It's about suiting your career to your lifestyle instead of suiting your lifestyle to your career. All right, so that's lateral mobility for me. Hope that makes sense. Bye, guys.